Hello and a very warm welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday using my MLFF Craftimo size 10 filbert brush and size 8 round brush. I'm going to be using my Daniel Smith paints. The colors I'll be using are Perylene Maroon, Quinacridone Gold, and a Sepia, which is a Winsor & Newton professional watercolor. I'm going to be doing an abstract kind of landscape today. I felt like I've been feeling like just playing with my paints. I felt like playing with wet on wet techniques, and I wanted to try something which may or may not work. I'm using some very nice Arches watercolor paper, which I've cut into a slightly smaller sheet, and I'm using it in landscape mode. I'm also just using my washi tape a little bit before sticking it onto the watercolor paper to stop it being so entirely sticky, because I don't like it pulling the paper up, messing the paper. I have found a nice hack that works very well, and that's to use your hairdryer on it before you lift it, and that seems to loosen the glue, which is quite amazing. One of my lovely subscribers told me that little trick. So I also have my 2 jars of water there, and I'm going to be putting a very thin piece of washi tape sort of 3/4 of the way down, because I want to keep a strip dry, a very thin strip dry 3/4 of the way down, and we'll just see whether that works or not. And then I'm actually just going to be playing. So I'm going to be putting some lovely relaxing music on while I play and relax with the watercolors. And I hope that you'll enjoy joining me, seeing what I do, and possibly trying something similar. I'm not entirely sure what's going to be the result of this little playing. I have tried something similar to this before, but without this line, and we'll see where we get to. now, as I was painting this, I began to regret the use of the washi tape in the middle, and I had wanted this kind of a look of a reflection, and in a way it happened, and then I thought, no, I didn't like it, so I went over things again, and you'll see at the end of the day that I decide to wet a whole lot of it. There's a bit of a brown mix as I joined those two colors together, but I don't mind, and it's very watery, so I decided I'm going to try to let the water just float down and with the paints and see what effect we'll get like that. I was really enjoying myself. I'm speaking after the effect because I felt the need of some creative space and the peace and quiet of being present while I was doing it and not trying to talk. So now I decided to fill this in with water. Perhaps I should have left it just like this, but then the entire space began to disappear. So I then started to lift up bits, and I think I like what it ended up as. I decided to lift with a thirsty brush, lift up small bits so that in a way it looks more organic than it did with the washi tape between the two. This Perylene Maroon is quite a staining color, so it doesn't lift all that well, which I think is really nice. And I love the bleeds and the way the paint has just been traveling, and that is thanks to the wonderful, wonderful Arches 100% cotton paper. There is honestly and truly nothing quite like it. It costs an arm and a leg, but I use it sparingly. I use mostly my Emma Lefebvre 100% cotton paper that comes in her box, the watercolor subscription box that I get from Emma Lefebvre Craft Mode. That's also a very nice paper. But to do this kind of a very wet, where I'm really, the paper's withstanding a lot of water and a lot of almost scrubbing from my brush here and there. And I had such fun and felt so connected as I was doing this, and I've really, really enjoyed creating this piece. I'd love to know if you've ever tried anything like this. I like the way these colors go together. I think they are harmonious and sort of, the Perylene Maroon and the sepia go together very well, and then that little bit of the wonderful quinacridone gold lifts and kind of gives me a feeling of hope and upliftment, and I just loved doing this. I will be doing probably more of these, and I'd love to know what you think, and I'd love to know if you've ever tried anything like this, and if you're inspired to maybe give it a go. I'd love to know. I, of course, can't go without my gold, so I'm going to add some gold splashes to it. I've got my Kuritake Gansai Tambi starry colors, and I'm using the red gold because I wanted to stand out a little bit. I normally go for the light gold, but I thought I'm going to use the red gold for this one. And I've been practicing doing my splashes, and I hope that they work a little bit better this time because I sometimes struggle. Discovered you need the paintbrush quite wet and then to tap over another brush. So if you've been struggling, maybe that little hint will help you. So I'm just tapping this and getting some splashes of lovely shiny gold to add to this, which just, oh, gold is just yummy. I love it. And it always adds a little something. And now to remove the washi tape and reveal the final product. So this washi tape was not so terribly sticky. it does work to take the hairdryer, but I'm always just a little bit lazy about getting up and going through to the other room to use it. So I always give it a try first and see what's happening, which is silly because then sometimes the paper breaks. But as yet, I don't feel that any of my paintings are actual masterpieces, and they usually just get plonked in a file. So most of the time, my painting is done for my enjoyment and my practicing being in the moment, and I just love to do it. So that's the reason I paint. It's for no other reason than that. So there we have it, and let's see if you can see any shine from the gold. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to sign it this time because I do like to try and keep tabs of when I painted things. And I'm just going to hold this up and we'll see. I'm not really getting the reflections. My lighting's not great for that. I need to buy a huge ring light or something. So thank you so much for watching this and for spending some creative time with me. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye now.